I think I've never been so nervous in my entire life. When I was putting on my spikes, I put the wrong shoe on the wrong foot.
Do you think Kylian Mbappé can beat Usain Bolt at a race?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He has no chance. I don't see the problem with me being a human and enjoying myself, playing some dominoes, having a drink every now and then. That's just me blowing steam off.
Hello, c'est Safa. Je me trouve actuellement en Jamaïque, chez l'un des plus grands athlètes du monde, Usain Bolt, qui nous a ouvert les portes de son domicile pour une interview exclusive sur Brut.
Hi, I'm Usain Bolt. I'm here with Brut.
Hi, Usain.
Hello.
For this interview, I would like to go through the highlights of your career. According to some of those close to you, everything began for you professionally, with a game at school, where one of your friends bet lunch that you wouldn't beat him at race. Could you tell us about that?
So the story actually it was actually one of my coaches, my cricket coach. This guy at school, he always wins every sports day. And the coach bet me that if I won, he would buy me box lunch. And back in the days for us, that was as a kid, that was a big thing to get in a box lunch for lunch. So for me, that's really how it went.
At first, you did not really enjoy training. Even your father once told you that you were lazy. Mm-hmm. How do you feel when your father tells you, Shane, you're lazy?
No, it wasn't a lie. It wasn't a lie. For me, it was fine because I know I was lazy. But I've always said it throughout my career that I'm a lazy person, but when I need to work hard, I do.
And at what point did you manage to change, going from a lazy person to someone who works it, who makes it?
It was actually very later on in my career. I think when I started working with Glenn Mills, when I think I was like 19, and we really sat and he explained to me a few things and explained to me that I won't get better, I won't get farther if I don't change my attitude, if I don't work harder, if I don't dedicate myself to the sports. And that's when I actually started changing. When
you started your sports, did Jamaica have the right infrastructures for you to train?
No. We started out most of the time was grass track. The only Mundo track at the time was at the National Stadium. So most of the time we were always competing on grass. I think it was later on in my career when we started doing better, they started putting more tracks down and stuff like that.
At the very beginning of your career, despite your talent, there were some uncertainties. You had a scoliosis, and some would say you were too tall to run fast. How did you keep that out of your head?
Well, for me, scoliosis was the issue at the start, because we didn't understand how to deal with the situation. I just knew what I wanted. When it comes to speed, me and my coach sat down and we talked, and he's like, listen, being tall is a disadvantage when you're starting, but at the end it's an advantage. So we kind of just worked on my weakness and developed my strengths also.
Have you ever considered quitting or not?
No, I don't think that was ever an option for me. Sports was always the way for me. And it was always just figuring out how I could get it under control, you know what I mean? Because it didn't bother me so much when I was younger. It was when I started putting more pressure on my body. When the older I got, I had to go faster, I had to work harder. That's when it really started giving problems. So the moment we figure out how to keep it under control, then it was okay.
In 2002, you took part in the Under-20 World Junior Championships in your home country. You were only 15 at that time. How did you deal with the stress of high-level competition at the time?
I don't know. I think I've never been so nervous in my entire life. When I was putting on my spikes, I put the wrong shoe on the wrong foot, because I wasn't focused and I was just nervous because everybody was chanting my name.
That was the first time you hear actual people saying, Bolt, Bolt.
Yeah, that was the first time, because when I was coming out of the stadium, when I was walking through the tunnel and coming out, I heard the chant started, but I wasn't listening. And it's when I got out and I was actually listening to what they were actually saying. And that's when I really got really nervous, because now I know they expect me to win. So all the nerves came down.
So they expect you to win and you actually win?
Yeah, just all willpower.
Is it one of your happiest memories?
Yes, for sure.
Until now?
For me, yeah, that was one of my proudest moments, to have actually won in front of my home crowd, because you don't really, as Jamaicans, because we don't have facilities for like championships and big games, you know what I mean? So for me to have gotten that one opportunity and I actually won in front of the home crowd, it was a great feeling.
You seem very close to your coach, Glenn Mills, and of course to your manager and best friends, NJ. What role did they play in your early career?
Well, NJ has always been there. We grew up in school together, you know what I mean, throughout. So he was there even before he became my manager, you know what I mean? Even when he went off to college and he was overseas working and stuff like that, we'd always stay in communication. So for me, when I got to the point, I was like, you know what, I need somebody in my corner who I trust 100%. And I told him, like, after he finished college, he was like, yo, I'm gonna be a teacher. I was like, no, you're not. You know what I mean? You're gonna come manage me, come work for me. And he didn't know anything about management, but he took his time and he learned and he got better. And for me, that was very helpful to have someone 100% that you know you can trust. And when it comes to my coach is just a genius. I would say he's like my second dad. He's someone that I can go to for like advice, and he understands me very well, and we worked well together.
If he's like a second dad, is there like any time where he just like yells at you as if you were his kid?
All the time. All
for
the
real?
time. Yeah. Because I would say I wasn't the perfect athlete, you know what I mean? I've said that before. So at times I would do things he wouldn't like. So he would bring me to the side and really give it to me. But it's just one of those things.
In 2007, you finished second at the World Championships in Osaka, right after Tyson Gay, in the final of the 200 meters. Apparently, you told your coach, never again, next time I have to win. Do you need like an opponent to beat, like to motivate you?
Yeah, Phelps said something, and it resonated with me because it's so true, that we all need that one person, that one competitor. And for me, I've always, throughout my years, I've always searched for that one person that to compete, to drive. That person that you think about when you go to bed, when you wake up, when you're training, when you say, you know what, I don't want to do anymore. You're like, you know what, he's probably doing it. Let me just get through this, you know what I mean? Probably 5 years of my career, Gatlin was that person also that really drove me. But then it was Tyson. I remember losing to him and I thought I would have won that race because in my mind I was ready. And when I got as a coach, I didn't like that feeling. And he said, if you want to win, you got to do this and this. And I was like, all right, I'm ready next season. And the rest was history. Were
you a competitor in all aspects of your life, like school, everything?
Yes, I was always like that. I loved maths when I was in school growing up. And NJ was the same thing also. So when we were growing up, we always compete in maths to see who always gets a better grade. So it's something that was very competitive. If I know I'm not good at it, I don't compete.
Jumping now to Beijing Olympics, the first big event for you, I would say. What state of mind are you in when you play those first games?
I think it was the most prepared I've ever been for a championship, I think. After I lost to Tyson that year, I really sat down with my coach and I was like, what did I do wrong? What do we need to improve? And he kind of just laid out. And I was like, all right. I worked hard. I worked to the point where he had to give me days off because I was so exhausted. So for me, I was well prepared going into Beijing. I'm still a little bit nervous because it was my first time. I hadn't won a championship before, but I was well prepared.
For us, a 100 meters race goes by at full speed. But for you, I feel like you have so many things to tell about 9 seconds. Like, is your perception of time different?
I think so, because I'm the type of athlete that looks around. It's not something that athletes should do, but I can't help myself. So I definitely do kind of slow time down in my mind. So I remember throughout the races what was going on in my head, where I was, what I needed to do. I think time slows down for me. It's not as fast as you guys see it because it breaks down in steps for me.
We see also that you always put on a show, like you even have time to strike pose in front of the cameras. Why do you do that? Is it like to disturb your opponent?
No, it's just my personality. I think if you watch in 2015 when I won, I saluted. And if you watch like even World Youth, when I won in Canada, I was doing different dances. So it's something that I've been doing since I was a young kid. And I just brought it into the seniors. And for me, I enjoy showing people my personality and who I am as a person.
In 2012 now, you arrived at the London Olympics with a completely different stature. You were gold medalist in the 100 meters and 200 meters. What was different for you? Like, how did you feel compared to the previous games?
It was a lot more intense because this was the moment I had to prove to the world that I was the best, you know what I mean? So there was a lot more stress on it. But I think after getting through the rounds, I think kind of helped me to calm down because I felt great. I was running good. So I was just ready to prove to the world that I was the best.
At that time, you start really winning everything. How do you stay motivated when you are already the best?
Now, for me, I think getting to that, to the 2012, I didn't need motivation because I wanted it, you know what I mean? Because I had to win 2 Olympics to prove, for me to build my status because no one has never won back-to-back Olympic medals in the 100 and 200 meters. So for me, that was my goal. As I told you, my last 5 years, I think Justin kind of kept me on my toes. He was the guy that I knew that if I slipped up this year, if I didn't train harder, then I would lose my win streak. So that's something that kept pushing me. When
you've won it all, don't you just want stop and just enjoy your free time?
That's why I retired. I was supposed to retire after 2016. That was my main goal, to retire. But I think everybody my family, my friends, my sponsors, the fans, everybody was like, no, I'll go one more year. But for me, then I had done everything that I wanted to do. I think after I won gold in Rio, that was it for me. I kind of signed off because Rio was the main goal, to get that 3rd gold medal.
On TMZ, there was this interview where Gatlin announces that he's going to bring home the gold from Rio. Does it trigger the desire to win for you?
Yeah, if you watch my documentary, Usain Bolt.
I did.
I spoke about that. I think throughout that season, it was harder to motivate myself to go out and train because, as you said, when you win everything, the desire is not as high as it used to be. But that video kind of lit a fire underneath me. And this is why you need a rival. You need somebody to keep you on your toes, to keep driving you, to make you want to do better. So for me, that really lit the fire and got me going again.
Do you, at that time, realize the impact you're going to leave on your sport forever and on popular culture in general?
For me, I think throughout the years of winning, I think a lot of athletes would come up, young kids, not just athletes, but like college students, people who are working would come up and say, listen to me, thanks, you motivate me, you know what I mean? The things that you say make me want to work harder, make me want to do better. So for me, from then I could notice that I'm making an impact in the world, and I felt good to know that what I've been doing and showing the world that anything is possible, don't think limits, is working, then I was excited and happy.
During your career, you always have been honest about the fact that you enjoyed partying, etc. Why did you choose to be honest about that?
Because that's who I am. I think the biggest issue with a lot of people, and this is why they go through a lot and they're always stressed and they're always tense, is because they let the media dictate how they live. And I was never one of those persons, you know what I mean? As long as I was doing my work and doing what I was supposed to do, I don't see the problem with me being a human and enjoying myself, playing some dominoes, having a drink every now and then. That's just me blowing steam off. So, and it helped me. And if you watch with a lot of athletes who try to hide and, oh, I'm the perfect athlete, they always fall at the wayside because they don't get to be themselves. You know what I mean? It's always bottled up, and then it brings bad energy and it brings stress and it brings frustration. But I was never that person. I was always happy and having a good time.
You're undeniably Jamaican pride. Can you have a normal life today, walking down the streets in your country, or not?
I think Jamaica's not as crazy as other countries that I've been to. I think we're much more chill. everybody just want to say hi or give you a fist bump, or you know what I mean. So it's not crazy. I still get love, but it's not like fan crazy, like people rushing you and stuff like that. So
I cannot end this interview without talking about Kylian Mbappé, because recently in an interview you talked about him. He's our national pride.
Yes.
You said you would love to compete with him. Why so?
Because most people always say that he would be faster than me, he's faster than me. And that's not possible. So I would love, in my prime, I'd love to run him over 100 meters or even over the pitch, you know what I mean, in a football boots, just to prove that he is not faster than me.
But if there was 30 meters?
He has no chance. He has no chance.
And when you see him, do you see yourself at a younger age, maybe?
Yeah, it's always good to see great talent, you know what I mean? And he's a press number person. He smiles a lot. Surprises we haven't really met yet, but I'm looking forward to the day. It should be fun.
Thank you so much.
All right, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you a lot. All right.
Thank you for your time.
No problem.
That was really good.
Pleasure.